till death do us part, or love conquers all. We've all heard these words, but in today's world, they're starting to sound more like a fairy tale than a reality. Welcome to Love and Life, where we're about to shatter some illusions and dive deep into the sometimes harsh truth of modern marriages. Fasten your seatbelts, dear listeners. We're about to take a wild ride through the realities of modern love. Let's start with some eye-opening statistics. Now keep in mind that these numbers can vary depending on the source and time period, but they give us a general idea. In the United States, it's often reported that about 50% of first marriages end in divorce. That's right. If you're attending a wedding, there's roughly a coin flip chance that the couple won't make it. But here's where it gets even more interesting. For second marriages, the divorce rate tends to increase, with estimates ranging from 60% to 67%. And for third marriages, well, the numbers suggest it could be anywhere from 70% to 75%. Now you might be thinking, shouldn't people learn from their mistakes? Well, the data suggests otherwise. It seems that the more times people marry, the worse they get at staying married. This challenges our common belief that experience leads to better decision-making in relationships. But wait, there's more. In some Eastern European countries, the situation is even more dire, with divorce rates reaching as high as 60%. This raises questions about how cultural differences and societal norms impact the longevity of marriages. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, love, or rather, the lack of it. While there can be many reasons for divorce, financial issues, disagreements about raising children, or conflicts with in-laws, the underlying factor is often that couples simply fall out of love. It's a hard truth, but one we need to face. But here's where it gets even more complicated. Not all unhappy couples divorce. Some stay together for financial reasons, especially if they have shared assets or businesses. Others remain married due to religious beliefs that prohibit divorce. These couples might be living separate lives while maintaining the legal facade of marriage. This means our divorce statistics might actually be underrepresenting the number of failed marriages, and we haven't even touched on long-term relationships that don't end in marriage. If we included these in our statistics, the picture of lasting love becomes even bleaker. So what does all this mean? Are we doomed to fail in our pursuit of lasting love? Not necessarily. While the statistics are sobering, they also offer us an opportunity to redefine what a successful marriage looks like. A quality marriage, one that truly embodies the spirit of the institution, is built on mutual love and happiness. It's not just about staying together, it's about growing together, supporting each other, and maintaining that spark of love that brought you together in the first place. The reality is, marriages that meet this high standard might be rarer than we think, perhaps only a small percentage of all marriages. But instead of being discouraged by this, we should see it as a challenge. A challenge to approach our relationships with open eyes, realistic expectations, and a commitment to nurturing love and happiness. Now that we've discussed the sobering statistics about marriage and divorce, let's delve deeper into a crucial factor that can make or break a marriage. This factor has a strong personal nature and can help those who haven't yet seen the main path to achieving happiness in marriage or in their emotional life in general. Imagine a tree as it grows. It starts to split into main branches. Similarly, there are main branches in the path to marital happiness, but many people struggle to identify and follow them. Here's a fundamental truth. Anyone can have a marriage, but happiness only belongs to those who actively build it. This concept might seem obvious at first, but if you truly internalize it, you might have a realization about your own level of happiness in your relationship. You might ask yourself, why haven't I achieved the maximum happiness I should have? To illustrate this point, let's draw a parallel with finances. Everyone in this world has some form of money, but true wealth and financial abundance only belong to those who know how to build and manage their finances effectively. The same principle applies to marriage and emotional life. Consider cooking as another example. Anyone can cook, but only those who are diligent, who research, learn, and practice become renowned chefs. The most refined and valuable aspects of human life only belong to those who develop themselves and put in consistent effort. In the context of marriage, almost everyone will start a family at some point, whether you're diligent or not, whether you care about your appearance or emotional intelligence, whether you actively build your emotional life or not. you'll likely still end up in a relationship or marriage. But true happiness only comes to those who consciously build that life. As Jim Rohn wisely said, the things of high value in our lives are often on very high shelves in life. And to be able to reach those high-value things, you have to stand on books. While he primarily applied this to finance and personal development, it's equally true for our emotional lives and marriages. To have a mediocre marriage, like many people do, you don't need to do anything special. But if you want a truly happy marriage, you can't be content with being average. You need to stand on books. Educate yourself, develop your emotional intelligence, and actively work on building a strong relationship. I encourage you to reflect on yourself and observe others around you. How many people do you know who are actively building their emotional lives? Do you know what it means to build an emotional life? Start asking these questions to yourself and others. This understanding is crucial, especially for those feeling hurt or longing for a happy marriage. If you're not happy, instead of blaming others or circumstances, look inward. Have you invested in your emotional life? Have you built anything in your relationship? Remember, external factors like a cheating spouse or feeling unlucky in life are often consequences, not causes. The real cause lies in the version of ourselves that we've built. By realizing this, we put the steering wheel of happiness right in our own hands. So while our earlier statistics showed that many marriages end in divorce, and even fewer might be truly happy, this doesn't have to be your story. Yes, everyone might eventually have a family, but happiness in married life only comes to those who know how to build it. Now, while these statistics may seem disheartening, remember that your love story is unique. But before we dive into how to build a lasting, happy marriage, let's explore another intriguing aspect of relationships that often leads to their downfall. In our next segment, we'll uncover the biological reasons behind a controversial question: why do men seem to cheat more often? Let's start by clarifying what we mean by infidelity or cheating. In most cultures, including Western and many others, infidelity is considered a breach of trust in any exclusive relationship, whether it's a marriage or a committed dating relationship. Here's a more comprehensive view of infidelity. Let's dive into the complex world of infidelity. Picture this: you're in a relationship where you've both promised to be faithful. Whether you're married or dating exclusively, that promise is the foundation of trust. But here's where it gets tricky. Infidelity isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. It's like a chameleon, changing its colors depending on the relationship stage. Imagine you're in the early stages of dating. You're still getting to know each other, maybe going on coffee dates or dinner outings. At this point, if you haven't had the talk about exclusivity, seeing other people isn't typically considered cheating. It's more like keeping your options open. But once you've both agreed to be exclusive, that's when the rules change. In committed relationships, whether you're sporting matching promise rings or wedding bands, the line is much clearer. Engaging romantically or sexually with someone other than your partner, that's crossing into cheating territory. It's like breaking a pinky promise, but way more serious. So here's the bottom line. If you and your partner have agreed to be exclusive, venturing into romantic or sexual territory with others is generally considered infidelity. It doesn't matter if you're married, engaged, or just dating. That agreement is what counts. Remember, relationships are all about communication and understanding each other's expectations. So, make sure you're on the same page to avoid any heartache down the road. It's crucial to remember that definitions of infidelity can vary between individuals and cultures. Open and clear communication about expectations and boundaries is essential in any relationship to avoid misunderstandings and hurt feelings. For the purpose of this discussion, I'm sharing a general definition of infidelity that most people understand within the context of marriage, but it's important to note that this can apply to any committed relationship. Now, you might be wondering, is it really true that men cheat more? While exact statistics are hard to come by, after all, who readily admits to cheating? Both anecdotal evidence and available data suggest that yes, men do tend to cheat more frequently than women. To understand why this happens, we need to look at the biological differences between men and women. Nature has wired men and women differently, particularly when it comes to emotional and sexual needs. For men, two crucial needs exist in parallel, intertwining yet distinct in their nature: the need to love and be loved, an emotional connection that fulfills the heart; the need for sexual gratification, a physical desire that satisfies the body. These dual needs often coexist, but interestingly, they can also operate independently in men. This unique characteristic plays a significant role in understanding male behavior in relationships. Here's the key difference. In men, these needs can operate independently. This means a man can potentially engage in sexual activity without emotional attachment. For women, however, these needs are often intertwined. Women typically find it challenging, if not impossible, to engage in sexual relations without emotional connection. Now, you might be wondering, why did nature create this difference? The answer lies in the fundamental goal of any species: survival. The Creator, or nature if you prefer, designed humans with one primary objective: to ensure the continuation of our species. Whether we're happy or not, humans must survive and reproduce. This biological imperative is deeply ingrained in male physiology. Men are designed with a strong, recurring sexual drive, primarily fueled by testosterone. This drive ensures that reproduction continues, regardless of emotional attachment. It's crucial to understand that this doesn't mean all men will cheat or that cheating is acceptable. Many men choose faithfulness despite these biological urges. However, it does explain why men might feel a stronger pull towards infidelity, even if they don't act on it. For women, the biological setup is different. Women are naturally inclined towards emotional connection before physical intimacy. This doesn't mean women don't have sexual desires, but these desires are often more closely tied to emotional bonds. Understanding these differences doesn't mean we should accept infidelity as inevitable. Instead, it provides insight into how we can build stronger, happier relationships. When men and women find partners they truly love and connect with, they can satisfy both emotional and physical needs within their relationship. This leads to happier, more fulfilling partnerships. In conclusion, the tendency for men to cheat more often than women is rooted in complex biological factors. It's not about one gender being better or worse, but about understanding our natural inclinations and choosing how to act on them. Remember, while biology plays a role, we are not slaves to our instincts. Understanding these differences can help us build stronger, more empathetic relationships. By acknowledging our natural tendencies, we can work together to create fulfilling partnerships based on mutual understanding, respect, and love. Now, speaking of love and relationships, let's shift gears to another crucial aspect that can make or break a marriage. Today, we're diving into a thought-provoking question that touches the lives of many. Does forgiveness make marriage better? This intriguing topic resonates deeply with those in long-term relationships or marriages, and it's a complex issue that deserves careful consideration. So stick around as we unravel this emotional puzzle and explore its impact on the foundation of lasting relationships. Before we delve into the meat of our discussion, let's take a moment to acknowledge the weight of this topic. Relationships, especially marriages, are intricate webs of emotions, experiences, and expectations. When we talk about forgiveness in this context, we're touching on some of the most sensitive and personal aspects of human interaction. Now, let's start by examining the common perception of forgiveness in relationships. Society often portrays forgiveness as a virtue, a sign of strength and love. We're told that to forgive is divine, that it's the hallmark of a mature and committed relationship. But is this always the case? Does the act of forgiveness inherently improve the quality of a marriage? These are the questions we'll be exploring today. To ground our discussion in reality, let's consider a scenario that unfortunately is all too common in marriages: infidelity. Statistics show that husbands are more likely to cheat than wives, but it's crucial to note that this issue can affect both partners. When infidelity is discovered, the betrayed partner faces an agonizing decision: to forgive or not to forgive. Many choose forgiveness, and at first glance this might seem like the best path forward. After all, forgiveness is often presented as the only alternative to divorce, which can be extremely painful, disruptive, and life-altering. But here's where we need to pause and really examine the situation. Is forgiveness truly improving the marriage, or is it simply preventing its immediate dissolution? This brings us to a crucial point in our discussion. Forgiveness alone doesn't necessarily improve a marriage. Why? Because forgiveness doesn't automatically rebuild the love and trust that were damaged by the betrayal. When a partner returns after an affair, they often grapple with a cocktail of negative emotions: shame, guilt, and inferiority. These feelings, while natural, actually work against rekindling love and rebuilding the relationship. So if forgiveness isn't the magic solution, what does make a marriage better? The key lies in actively building and maintaining feelings of love between partners. This isn't something that happens by chance or can be sustained without effort. It requires conscious work, dedication, and commitment from both partners. Let's break this down further. Improving a marriage involves several key components. First, communication. Open, honest, and respectful dialogue is crucial. This means not just talking, but truly listening and seeking to understand your partner's perspective. Second, rebuilding trust. This is a gradual process that requires consistency and transparency from both partners. Third, addressing underlying issues. Often, infidelity is a symptom of deeper problems in the relationship. These need to be identified and addressed. Fourth, rekindling intimacy. This goes beyond physical intimacy and includes emotional and intellectual connection as well. Finally, shared goals. Working together towards common objectives can help strengthen the bond between partners. Now let's circle back to forgiveness. While it might not inherently improve a marriage, it can be an important step in the healing process. Forgiveness can create a space for these other crucial elements of relationship repair to take place. It's not the end goal, but rather a starting point for rebuilding. Here's a crucial insight I want to share with our listeners. Forgiveness might prevent the immediate breakdown of a marriage, but it doesn't inherently improve it. To truly enhance a marriage, couples need to focus on rebuilding love, trust, and emotional connection. This requires effort, time, and often professional help. Let's take a moment to discuss the role of professional help in this process. Many couples find that working with a qualified therapist or counselor can provide invaluable guidance as they navigate the choppy waters of rebuilding trust and intimacy after a betrayal. These professionals can offer tools and strategies for effective communication, conflict resolution, and emotional healing. It's also worth noting that the process of rebuilding a marriage after infidelity is not linear. There will be good days and bad days, steps forward and steps back. This is normal and to be expected. The key is to maintain commitment to the process and to each other even when things get tough. Now, I want to address an important point. Sometimes, despite best efforts, a marriage may not be salvageable. It's crucial to recognize that forgiveness doesn't obligate a person to stay in a relationship that is harmful or unfulfilling. Each situation is unique, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. In conclusion, while forgiveness can be an important step in healing after a betrayal, it's not a magic solution for improving a marriage. Real improvement comes from both partners actively working to strengthen their bond, communicate effectively, and rebuild trust over time. It's a challenging process, but one that can lead to a stronger, more resilient relationship if both partners are committed to the journey. We hope this podcast has given you a new perspective on forgiveness and marriage. Remember, every relationship is unique, and what works for one couple may not work for another. The key is to approach these challenges with honesty, empathy, and a commitment to growth, both individual and as a couple. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to ponder. In your own relationships, how can you foster an environment of trust, open communication, and mutual growth? Whether you're dealing with a major betrayal or simply the day-to-day challenges of maintaining a long-term relationship, these principles can help strengthen your bond. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found this podcast insightful and thought-provoking. If you have any thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment or simply say hi to let us know you've listened. Your feedback is invaluable to us. Take care, and remember, a strong marriage is built on more than just forgiveness. It's built on mutual respect, understanding, and a commitment to growth. See you next time.